Hey y'all, it's Amanda, the Marketing Mama. Happy Weekend Warrior Wednesday, or as we like to call it, Realtor Saturday, because it's midweek, and as you know, you Realtors, you are your weekend warriors. And so I, kind of got like a Donna Reed meets Mr. T vibe today. Like, this is a lot, right?
No, it's perfect.
I pity the fool.
It's exactly enough.
Right?
Yeah.
That might be like the perfect flavor combination for my personality is Donna Reed mixed with Mr. T. What do you think, maybe?
I think possibly.
That might be it. That might be it. I've always been searching for that one thing. So anyway, guys, as the Marketing Mama in this business for almost 2 decades, which is crazy because I'm only 20. I'm just kidding. I'm more than that. I talk to realtors all the time, and we're always upstairs talking to various agents in the LPT room, and lots of fun stories. Can't wait to share them all. But we were thinking we should put this out there. This is like really good stuff to know, good content. And so it's our first try at this. So be kind, please. Always, kindness is magic.
Kindness is key.
It is key,
yes.
And it's also magic. That's what I tell my kids. But in any event, so we're gonna talk new agent stuff today because Elizabeth Delker is a brand new realtor.
Baby agent.
A baby
brand
agent.
Brand new.
I'm so excited. And Elizabeth Delker has also been my friend for 20 years. Her husband and my husband worked together at Chili's when they were babies.
Children, yes.
Yeah, a long, long time ago. And your husband was also a rock star.
Yes, he was. He still is.
I was going to say.
Still is a rock
right?
star. Yeah.
I know. That's like my dream
my
job.
own personal concert every day.
Honestly, right? Does he?
Yes.
Oh my God, that would be so exciting, so awesome. So I felt like this would be really fun stuff to talk about because there's lots of new agents out there, but there's also lots of agents out there that are kind of floating around and don't really know where to go or what to do.
Oh, 100%.
All the time. It's kind of the nature of the beast. I always say that in this business, you don't know until you know. You know?
That's true.
And that's what I loved about you is because you come from the corporate world. Mm-hmm. She's very like dot the I's, cross the T's, loves a list, which is, I love a list.
My best friend is a list.
Or a spreadsheet is like my jam. You were so funny because you were like, well, what is like the day of the life? I'm like, oh Lord.
Yeah, what's my itinerary today?
Right. Yeah, and so that's what we kind of wanted to talk about and see, what separates the men from the boys, or the good from the great, if you will.
That's right.
The great from the good, I guess, in that analogy. So let's start.
Okay.
Elizabeth, what are your questions?
My questions. Okay, so coming in as a new agent, I think a lot of brand new agents probably have some of the same questions. And my first question coming in was, how do I get clients?
Oh, I love this question. And we answered this question,
yes.
I hope, very well. So first thing you got to do, are you a realtor?
Yes.
You're a realtor.
I'm a realtor.
Are you a realtor? So then own it and let everybody freaking know that you're a realtor. So when I was a baby agent 20 years ago, I did the Brian Buffini methodology, huge fan of it, and it's all about your sphere of influence, your SOI. And so I remember we sat down and I said, okay, well, go ahead and make me a list of your SOI. And you're like, my who? My what?
My what?
Your sphere of influence. And that would be, like the people in your life that you do life with, whether
yes.
it's relatives or PTA members or whatever, wine club, whoever you have in your life, everyone, let them know what you're doing. But more importantly, be intentional about letting them know what you're doing. I think that's one of the hiccups with this business is that nobody really asks for the business, or they don't tell people that they're in the business. So intentionally telling them. So not only getting together your SOI list, which is super, super important, your sphere of influence list, but then doing I think it's pretty effective, a snail mail letter.
Yes.
Introducing you as the new you. Hashtag new normal. Is that you're a realtor and you want the world to know. You want to shout it from the rooftops. And so we put together a little letter. How did it go? Did you get any good feedback from it?
I did. Pretty much everybody that I sent it out to contacted me and said, oh my gosh, I got your letter. I got your business card. This is so exciting. I'm so proud of you. which is very cool.
Yeah.
Because your sphere of influence, I learned, should be the people that would answer your call if you called them, or people that you are super comfortable with. And just sitting down and putting that list together can be kind of difficult because you have to look through your Rolodex and try to find those
or your Facebook friend list.
Or your Facebook friend list. But it also forces you to reach out to them, which, because a lot of times you don't have people's addresses anymore.
Right.
But that is also the first step in staying in contact with that sphere of influence.
Exactly.
So it's starting with that snail mail thing, I think is very, very important.
Very, very important. And then you're also going to have, like, so with any list, you're going to have kind of like your A
list,
your A list, your B list, and your C list. And that will relate later when you have some non-sphere of influence contacts, when you're getting, more of your cold or organic leads that just come from the interweb out there, the strangers that know, like, and trust you. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the first thing, is letting the whole world know. So obviously you're going to want to get a professional headshot, which we did, and I love your headshot. I love all of them, actually. We did so many, and
they're so fun.
I love editing them too. That's, like, also fun.
Yeah, and it's also nice just to have a really pretty picture of yourself.
Oh my God, I know, right? You're like, I'm so pretty. I'm so pretty. But no, it is nice to have that, and then going ahead and getting those business cards. Now, the brokerage that we have our license at, LPT Realty, provides those business cards for free, which is so nice.
Yes, it is.
There's tons of templates that you can choose from, but that's also something I do for my Realtor Partners, as well as I help design their business cards too. But it was really nice to get, like, I loved getting my new cards because I've had, like, the same cards forever, but my new cards with my little new front on the front of it, like, right there, it was so exciting.
It is very exciting.
Even after 20 years, I'm like, ooh, new cards, who dis? I love it.
It's very cool too because little shout out to LPT. A lot of the initial expenses of being, a new agent is all of that marketing stuff. So paying for your business cards, paying for your magnets on your car, whatever,
listing
signs, your, like, all of that stuff, and it can be very overwhelming, and LPT does it right, I think, where they cover the cost of a lot of that stuff right up front, so you can go in and order your things, and they have templates that you can put together, so that made it really simple me.
Absolutely, click of the button. And another great thing about LPT Realty is that we have an in-house printing shops with, like, $24 million worth of printing equipment, and so you get these, like, really good high gloss, like, amazing things for
it's so professional,
next to nothing. Like $1 for a 30-page booklet that is pretty impressive. It has your beautiful face on it with your new photo. Those are kind of nice because again, that upfront expense is huge. When you're looking at getting into real estate, or even if you're in real estate currently and you're thinking of, like, I just need, like, a fresh start. It's nice to know that you have a place to go that is little to nothing out of pocket.
100%.
Thank goodness.
100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of leads, though, into the next thing, which is successful marketing. Because coming from the corporate world, I was not in charge of any of the marketing because I worked for a company that had a marketing person. So, when I became an agent and a marketing person, like, all in one fell swoop, learning how to do all of that, which I've been so grateful to have you because you're amazing at that.
I'm the marketing mama.
So I was able to pick Amanda's brain a little bit, but one of the wonderful parts of being a real estate agent, and a lot of what attracted me to this business, is that you get to ingrain yourself into your community,
right?
Which is so important because your face has to be out there, and people need to know that they can trust you, that you're part of that group or the part of that community. So how do you do that? Like, how do you start
putting it out there?
Putting it out
to
there.
The world.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, these are good. So I always start.
I found this on the web.
Oh,
Siri.
Thank you. You are
so
not
helpful.
invited to this. I don't know. I'm Android. I know, I'm such a nerd, but, like, I have wondered, like, do you like Siri? Because I hate Bixby. I'm always like, fuck off, Bixby. Excuse me. Screw off, Bixby. See, I told you I'm Mr. T. Mixed with Donna Reed. But anyway, you like Siri, though? You use her a lot?
Only when I'm trying to make phone calls.
Okay.
That's helpful.
Yeah, that is helpful. Well, let's back it up just a little bit, because I think we started off with successful marketing. And so one of the things that's really hard for realtors or new realtors to even wrap their minds around is that you are in your own self, in your own body, that one person, no matter what brokerage you're with, you are your own boss. You are your own business. The business of being you is like legit how real estate works. And so how do you know what success is? You know, how do you measure that? So the immediate thing that I always ask realtors to do, and I've honestly done it with like 6 different offices, and oddly enough, of those 6 different offices, like, and I'm talking like probably 100 agents, I think 3 of them had a business plan. So start immediately with your business plan. I have this really cool 1-page business plan. Happy to share it with you. Just reach out to me at themarketingmama.com or yourmarketingmama.com, excuse me, and I will send that your way. But measuring like what your goals are. And so the way that you do that in real estate, at least, is you start with what you want to make and kind of work it backwards, and then you get to know like how many calls you need to make, how many appointments do you need to set each week in order to know that you're not only done, but that you're going to get to that goal, whatever that successful goal is. So definitely start there first. But when it comes to going out there into your community, into your market, I know this sounds like hokey pokey, but like in probably 1980s real estate 101, but wear your name tag like all the time. ABC, baby. Yeah. My husband makes fun of me constantly because we'll be like we love to staycation here in Daytona area. Like every time I'm staycationing, I end up getting a mortgage or real estate deal, like, because I hear somebody talking about it and I'm like, oh, you're buying, you're selling, you're doing whatever. Always be available for the conversation. I think it's probably out the gate, and be confident in that. One of the things that you and I have talked about is being a new agent. Sometimes you lack confidence because you're like, well, I don't know all the things. Guess what, everyone? You're never going to know all the things. And in real estate, there's literally a new thing like every day, and you never know it until you know it. And then after you know it, you're like, oh, now I know it. And then you probably won't deal with it for like maybe another 50 transactions or whatever. So don't be too nervous about the things that you don't know. Certainly don't answer questions as if you know them. Right. One of the things, that's a great question.
Don't
get back to you. Don't lie. Oh my God, you guys.
Don't lie.
We have to say that, right? Because people think that all the time. It's so weird to me. I can't even imagine.
I think it has everything to do with when you're not confident in something. You want to make it sound like you are. So, and I think people have a hard time putting together confidence and not knowing the answer to something. Right. It is okay to say, you know what? I'm not sure, but I can find out for you.
Yeah, let me find out for you.
That would make me feel as a consumer a lot better about that person, other than just making something up.
That's a great question. Let me find out for you.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Know that for sure. But the one thing you do have when you're not new to the planet. You didn't like just land here and like suddenly, oh, what do I do? Like, you're a real life human woman, mom in her 40s, and you've been in customer service for 20 plus years. Yep. So you have that entire history that you're bringing with you to the table, and real estate is ultimately very much so customer service. So you've got that out there. So the key is making yourself available for the conversation, being confident, even if you don't know all the answers, because reminder, you're never going to know all the, that's why I love this business. 20 years, I learn something new every week. Yes. Sometimes every day.
There's so much to learn.
And it's so fascinating and fun, and it's always changing, and it's exciting, and I love, love, love it. So definitely putting it out there. More importantly, though, being involved in the community, the real estate community. So out the gate, I know you're in Lake County, and so you're in Rascal or whatever it is over there. Rouse, that's it. Rascal. Let me call it that. It's so much
I love
that. But absolutely getting involved with your local realtor association. Yeah. Obviously, we're involved in a lot of them because we work in various counties here in Central Florida. Huge proponent of getting there and getting your hands deep in it. Women's council is huge, a thing to be a part of, in my opinion, a great thing to be a part of. YPN, like I'm the YPN chair for Daytona board, huge proponent of that. I don't know if I still count as Y in the YPN, but I'm like the grandma of the YPN. But
it's fine.
Either way,
age
the
is
voice
only a
of
number.
reason, right?
You're young until you don't feel young anymore.
Well, it just depends on the day and the hour, of course. So, in either event, that's another thing I would highly get involved in your local real estate community, because you do ultimately learn by osmosis.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, you joined me last week at FAR.
Yes.
And it's so surprising to me that not a lot of realtors will go to FAR because they're like, what do I need to do that for? Like,
it was so fun.
It was fun, and you get to know like other real estate professionals and see the vibe. And guess what, everybody? There is not one way to do real estate. There's so many ways to do real estate, and so the more you can learn and the more you can be around it, I think the better that you are, for sure. So definitely get involved. And then, some of the things that you're passionate about. I know you're also a mama like me. So
I am.
One of the ding, 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 get involved with the kids' school.
Yes.
Hang your banner, let them know. But the key is, again, letting people know that you are a realtor and that you want their business.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like the hang up, is that, if you don't ask for it, they're not going to give it. I think you told me a story about when you guys bought your house.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, we didn't use you. And I'm like, why?
Right.
This was back in like 2004.
2004. Long time ago.
So tell me, what happened? Why didn't you use me? And I remember this conversation. I feel like we were in the gravel road in front of your house, and we're like, what happened?
Yeah, so, I mean, really, just to kind of put it out there, we didn't know to ask you. We knew you were an agent, but you weren't in Sorrento, which is where we were looking. So in our minds, not knowing anything about real estate, that's not your market.
Right.
So why would we, now looking back, I should have gone with Amanda because we liked our house, but we didn't love our house. So we probably could have found something a little bit different, but that's fine. But yeah, and things were a lot different back then too. There wasn't social media the way that it is now. So
there wasn't even MySpace.
Yeah. So you were doing a lot of like on the ground marketing.
Yes. Boots on the ground, which is what we call the mayor campaign, shaking hands and kissing babies, which is basically your time. It's ultimately most of the time free, except for your time, which is valuable, of course. Huge fan of that.
Same. I'm working on that now.
But that's what you do, the mayor campaign to all your local community things. And depending on your community. So I know that you are a member of chambers, and so again, going there, but also, like I said, name tag, putting it out there, asking for the business, talking to people, learning about what they need and seeing how you can fill that need. The other reality check is a lot of people in general, especially in real estate, they try to be everything to everyone, and you just physically can't be. It's literally impossible. But you also want to set a clear expectation for the relationships that you establish with your clients, so that, number one, they're not running you around like you are their personal chauffeur, slave, whatever. But two, set those boundaries for yourself, because I think that's probably the biggest thing in real estate is quote unquote balance. Although right now in 2022, I don't know if that is even a thing, balance. I think it's just like all in all the time. Yeah. Which I like. Honestly, it's kind of how I roll. It actually used to be our family motto until last year when we said, you can be weird, not gross weird. That's our new family motto.
I love that. I live by that.
Right? But no, all in all the time is kind of important, because I think, and we've talked about it, I think you're now, in week 6 maybe?
Week 6, yeah.
So you kind of, you get that, it's like the bug. It's almost like you get excited about it. Like you have your first listing.
Yes.
Which is super
exciting.
Coming up. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you start to, once you get that traction and you get that tread, you get really excited about it. Like, I'm a winner.
Yeah.
You are a winner every day. Even on the days when you're not feeling like a winner, when you are on your bed eating Nutella out of the jar with a spoon, which happens a lot.
Watching Netflix.
Yes, if you must watch TV during the day. But yeah, just remembering that there's no perfect day in real estate. There's just the perfect way that you can put yourself out there that gives you the balance and the calm that you need in your life to be a professional, and also to be of service to the people that you're helping. Because one of the things, I think you had talked about it earlier this morning, you were saying, we're not supposed to mix business with pleasure type of thing.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into don't be afraid to ask for business. There's a common misconception with real estate that you don't ask your friends or or you don't use a friend or a family member or something for your real estate transaction because you don't mix business and friendship or business with family. But I believe that is true to an extent, but not when it comes to real estate.
Right.
Because it's such an emotional thing anyway, purchasing your first home or third home or fifth home or whatever. You want someone with you that you trust.
And that you can be yourself with.
That you can be yourself with, and that's going to know you and know what you like, what you don't like, what, can kind of guide you.
Right. Right.
I mean, I'm not asking for a credit card or a check,
I know, Lucky Ducky, the mortgage side has to be that.
We're not doing that. We get to do kind of the fun part. The fun part.
The pretty houses part, which is always, everybody loves that part.
Yeah. So as a new agent, it's a hurdle to get over to not be afraid to ask for people's business.
Right.
So I am a real estate agent. If you are looking to buy or sell, please contact me.
Please, yes.
But it's true. You have to ask, and it's hard to ask people because you kind of feel like you're, crossing a line in a way,
right? But
you're not. So,
well, I think so one of the things that's a really good point that you made. So, when people think about salesmen or whatever, there's this negative connotation, this is going to show my age. Not that Mr. T and Donna Reed did not show my age. For those young bucks that are listening, Donna Reed is from the 60s and Mr. T is from the 80s. Both very cool people. Or characters, I should say. But, what was I going to say? Lost my train of thought. I have no idea.
That's okay.
What were you talking about before that?
We were talking about...
Live action.
We were talking about how you shouldn't be afraid to ask for business.
You should not be afraid to ask for business. Yes. Putting yourself
out there.
Holy cannoli. Why am I getting blank? All I can see is Mr. T in my brain now.
It's going to come back to you.
It will come back to me. I don't know. Maybe we'll go into emotion then.
Yeah.
So how about that? So another pitfall, I think, of any agent, especially if you're working with family or friends or people that know you, is you tend to, what I always say, become the craziest nut in the transaction. And ultimately what will happen is when you're dealing with your customer or clients is what I call them. But when you're dealing with them, they're going to take on that persona that you embody. So always be a professional as much as you can. I kind of relate it to the restaurant industry. Did you ever work in the restaurant industry?
No.
Well, that, my friend, is ask Greg, your husband, all about it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So here, pull the curtain behind here. When you go to a restaurant, even if your waitress or waiter is super nice at the table, I bet you my left arm that they are back there on the line bitching about something, because that's just, it's a high pressure job. It's a tough gig, honestly. But you have to go out there and turn it on. So it's kind of the same for real estate. When you are out there with your client, with your customer, be a professional. Don't bring your negative drama. Don't bring your crazy. If your client is being crazy, which people are crazy, you guys. It's okay. It's okay. You can be crazy, but we don't want to unpack and live there, and we don't want to go there with you on that journey. We want to be consummate professional the entire time. So certainly that's the one thing I always have to remind of. One of my favorite realtors that I mentor, I'm always remember that it's not your circus, not your monkeys. Yeah. So listen to what they're saying, take it, and package it away, and then let's focus on getting that listing or getting the buyer or whatnot. So that's one bit of advice I have for new agents. For sure.
Good advice for sure.
All right, so any more questions that you have?
We touched a little bit on time management. So there's going to be a lot of time when you're a new agent where it's slow. And you don't have anything to do. And so I think people like me, I'm constantly looking for something. If I have a lot of downtime, I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Right. So in your old job, you had a a daily to-do list, or you had
I
like
had
tasks
a
that
to-do
you had
list,
to accomplish?
yeah.
Okay.
And there was always, things were, in the corporate world, things were given to you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to, finish this, and this. As you move up, of course, then
Mm-hmm.
you have other people that you kind of have to manage,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have like your own task list or things that that you have to take care of every single day, or people that you have to follow up with,
Mm-hmm.
which is like that once you have a clientele. But in the beginning, you want to, I've been told, and I've been trying to fill my time with education.
Yes, yes.
So doing a lot of that. So I think what is very helpful for a new agent is knowing how to handle those slow times and what to do, or how to be productive when you're not producing.
Exactly. Okay, that's a really awesome point. So, and I still do this to this day, 20 years later, and I've done this successfully in 2 unknown markets. So it's not like I'm coming from like nowhere. This is legitimately how I've built a multi-million-dollar business in multiple markets. Remember we were talking about that business plan?
Yes.
And that financial goal that we need to hit. And so how do we hit that financial goal? Well, we have a series of things that we do as realtors, and I put that on, I call it the weekly growth report, because you're growing every week as a human, definitely as a realtor, especially when you're new.
Yeah.
And I literally would tape it to my desk, wherever that desk is. You don't have to physically, this is the age of virtual offices, obviously. Here we have an amazing, beautiful, we have a couple offices, but certainly tape that. I'm a tactile person, and I know a lot of people like to have it online or whatever, but I really do love having it there, and then you can cross it off, you can see what you're doing. So having a list of, for instance, for a realtor, what I always recommend is having some face-to-face conversations.
Yeah.
So we're going to circle back to that SOI, that sphere of influence, right? We're going to constantly hit them up. Not constantly, don't be annoying, but hey, just give them some bits of information about the market or about their current area, whatever. But certainly, having those conversations with people on a regular basis, shooting for, maybe when you're brand new, shooting for maybe 1 a week, ideally.
Yeah.
2 would be great. Breaking bread, maybe with other industry pros, it's another great way for you to kind of, like I was saying, learn by osmosis. Putting on your calendar the committee meetings, events, educational things, even if that education is online, literally sticking to the commitment on your calendar and doing it and checking it off that you've done it. Because how do you get to that number? How do you know when to stop?
Right.
So you know when to stop when you've done all those things, and it's that many appointments that you need to have. Obviously, social media posts. You can take there's a lot of great information out there. NAR has some really good stuff. I post a lot of that stuff from NAR as well. Let's see, prospecting. So these are cold leads. Probably for you, much like a lot of agents, I always recommend getting with a team or with a busy group that can kind of funnel some leads your way, and then really getting on those leads. So one of the things that a lot of anybody that I ever talk to, especially realtors, are well, I've already called them 5 times. So what is the average? This is a great stat, blows my mind. What is the average touch time for a cold lead? Do you remember?
You told me this. I want to say 17.
17 is the average. Before they're
can you imagine that? It's hard to wrap your mind around.
Because you're I don't want to be annoying. Well, you have to be.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's true.
Right.
Because, I don't answer my phone.
Well,
for if a salesperson or somebody is calling me, I don't answer the phone.
Right.
And, and a lot of times, like you were saying, when you sign up for something on a website, almost immediately your phone starts ringing.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like that.
If you've clicked 3 different websites, there's 3 different people that are running for. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that meme of Braveheart, where everybody's running toward you. That's how it is. Real estate is super, super competitive.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was really hard for a couple of my partners through the years to really wrap their minds around is 24 hours a day as a real estate agent. Even in lending, somebody's always trying to take that business from you.
Yeah.
And so it is your job to be the one that they go to. They're going to buy. They should be buying with you. They're going to sell. They should be selling with you. And so it really, I know it sounds like tedious work, and it is a little bit, but just, put it out there. Obviously we have a system here that we do. Happy to teach anyone that wants to come aboard, but certainly, just keep on prospecting is what that is called. Prospecting, I think, no less than an hour a day. I think you should ideally have about 10 hours of prospecting calls a week if you are working those cold leads. If you're a designated buyer's agent or something like that, you'll usually have a lot more of those opportunities for sure. But certainly that is another thing that you can do for business. Thank you cards. Handwritten cards, that's another Buffini-ism. I still to this day do that. I don't know why, but I love getting...
I wrote out 3 yesterday.
Yay!
Yeah.
And it's so nice to get that in the mail because you feel like, oh my gosh, somebody thought of me.
Well, rarely do you get anything personalized anymore. Right. It's a bill
or... It's the Valpak coupons.
Yeah,
yes.
Or like some sort of, I don't know, here's one of 5,000 credit card applications. Like, it's never anything fun. But when you get a letter, I get excited.
Right.
Like, oh.
Especially when it's handwritten.
Yeah.
I have horrible handwriting, so hopefully if you've ever gotten a letter from me, if you need it deciphered, then just give me a holler, let me know. And then again, like I said, learning 2 hours minimum a week, every week. Even now, 20 years later, 2 hours minimum a week, every week. I'm always learning. I think that's probably the biggest asset that you can give yourself, because remember, you are the business. Even if you're on a team or even if you're with a big brokerage, you're still the business ultimately. You are the one responsible for the business ultimately.
Yes.
Even if you're handed leads, you're still the one that's got to do the deal.
You got to do something.
You got to get it done.
Yeah.
Exactly. So why not always, what I say, ABL, like ABC, always be learning. Definitely committing to that is really, really huge. So those are my fun tips for new agents.
I like it.
Have we hit all the high points, I think?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
This was fun.
All right. Oh, mindset, I think, yes. We talked about that a little bit. Yeah, don't be the crazy nut. And just remember, you are the business. The business is you.
Yes. Promote yourself as a business.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, if you guys have any questions, you wanted to throw them in here, we'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. I think I'll be having Melissa Stalzer, who was in the top 5%. So she's going to talk about the top 5 things that you can be in the top 5% as a realtor. So we'll always have new content for you guys. If you ever want to give us something to talk about or have any questions, feel free to go to yourmarketingmama.com or just text or call 855-4-YO-MAMA and we'll chat. All things real estate. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.